I've spent over 40 years in the financial world, 3 decades watching people rise to incredible wealth and fall into complete ruin. I've seen fortunes built and fortunes lost. I've seen people who earned millions, only to watch it all vanish in a single market crash. And I've seen quiet, ordinary folks, teachers, mechanics, small business owners, slowly, steadily build wealth that lasted for generations. And after all these years, I've come to one conclusion. Success isn't about how much money you make. It's about how well you stand when the wind changes. You can learn every investment strategy in the world, read every book on finance, master every spreadsheet. But if you can't manage yourself, the market will manage you. I once told a client, "Don't ask me where to invest. Ask yourself, how do I become the kind of person who deserves wealth to stay?" Because money never stays with those who aren't ready to handle it. Everything begins from one simple place: yourself. There's no sustainable success until you've conquered the hardest battle, the one within. People ask me all the time, "What's the secret to getting rich?" And I always answer the same way. It's not a formula. It's discipline. Discipline to wake up early. Discipline to save when it's easier to spend. Discipline to keep learning when no one's watching. Discipline to keep promises to yourself, especially when no one would know if you broke them. When you can say no to small temptations, you're saying yes to long-term freedom. I remember a young client once asked, "Is there a faster way?" I smiled and said, "Sure, but it only works in your imagination." Because true stability doesn't come from speed, it comes from systems. If you can improve yourself by just 1% every day, success becomes inevitable. Read 5 more pages today. Spend $10 less. Focus 30 minutes longer. Do that for a year, and compounding will do the rest. Compounding isn't just for money. It works for habits, for mindset, for life itself. And the compound interest of discipline will take you further than any rate of return ever could. But discipline alone isn't enough. To keep what you build, you must master your emotions. That's what I call training the mind and the heart. Money doesn't change people, it reveals them. If you're fearful, money will amplify that fear. If you're greedy, money will blind you. But if you're calm and grounded, money becomes a tool for creation. Over the decades, I've learned that people rarely lose money because of bad investments. They lose it because of bad reactions. When the market turns red, they panic and sell. When everyone's greedy, they rush in. When things collapse, they blame bad luck. But luck isn't the problem. Instability is. A steady mind is the foundation of every wise decision. When others panic, you stay patient. When others doubt, you observe. When others wait, you move. Not from impulse, but from clarity. Some of the wealthiest people I know are also the calmest. They're not on social media shouting about their wins. They're not obsessed with quick profits. They've simply built strong inner peace, and from that peace, wealth grows naturally. One of my personal mantras is, learn to let go so you can hold on. Let go of your ego. Let go of your need to prove. Let go of bad investments, toxic partnerships, and the illusion that you must have everything. The smartest people I know don't hold on to everything. They hold on to what matters: peace, integrity, and energy. And energy, my friend, is the most underrated currency of all. I've seen brilliant young people burn out because they never learned to manage it. They were chasing every opportunity, saying yes to everything until they were completely drained. They forgot that energy and money behave the same way. If you leak them daily, they stop working for you. Draw your own energy map. Ask yourself, what recharges me? Learning, exercise, meditation, reading, being around good people? And what drains me? Complaining, scrolling, comparing, chasing validation. Cut the drains, multiply the sources. Because the person who manages their energy will eventually manage their wealth. And here's a truth I've learned after decades in finance. Wealth isn't about being richer. It's about being less fragile. A strong portfolio isn't one with the highest returns. It's one that lets you make mistakes and still survive. Have an emergency fund, at least 6 months of expenses. Diversify. Automate your investments so your emotions don't interfere. And ask yourself, if the market drops 30%, can I still sleep at night? If the answer is no, then you're not investing, you're gambling. And in this game, the winner isn't the smartest player. It's the one who lasts the longest. But there's another kind of compounding that few people talk about, the compounding of reputation and relationships. In America, we call it social capital. Social capital isn't printed on paper. It's built in every promise you keep, every handshake you honor, every moment you act with integrity. I once worked with a small business owner, not the most talented man, but the most reliable. He was always on time, always honest, and always willing to admit when he was wrong. 10 years later, his reputation became his biggest asset. People trusted him, referred clients to him, and helped him in downturns. He became wealthy not just in dollars, but in respect. Markets forgive mistakes. They never forgive dishonesty. A trustworthy brand will take you further than any marketing strategy ever could. Because trust, when compounded, becomes the most powerful form of wealth. Now let's talk about wisdom, what I call the sharpening of the mind. Wisdom doesn't come from knowing more, it comes from understanding deeper. Some people read 100 books but change nothing. Others read one and live it so deeply that it transforms everything. Don't learn to memorize, learn to apply. Don't chase new information. Seek timeless principles. The intelligent react quickly. The wise act correctly. A wise person doesn't get distracted by every trend. They don't ask, how do I get rich fast? They ask, how do I build wealth that lasts? They don't chase 10 strategies. They pick one that works and repeat it relentlessly. Warren Buffett once said, "Success doesn't come from doing a lot of things right, but from avoiding a lot of things wrong." The deeper your understanding, the less you need to do. True wisdom simplifies the complex. If you can't explain an idea to a 12-year-old, you don't truly understand it. Wisdom isn't about sounding smart. It's about bringing clarity where there was confusion. And remember, wisdom doesn't live in books. It lives in experience. You can't truly understand loss until you've lost. You can't grasp discipline until you've failed to keep it. Only through trial, correction, and reflection does knowledge become wisdom. And wisdom begins with asking the right questions. Most people spend their lives answering. The wise spend their lives asking, is this really important? Am I acting from vision or from fear? Does this decision align with my values or just my ego? Every right question pulls you closer to the truth. And after all these years, I've found that success in any field, business, money, or life, rests on 3 roots. Master yourself. Steady your heart. Sharpen your mind. But there are 2 more elements I've come to value deeply: energy and gratitude. Energy gives you the capacity to act. Gratitude gives you the clarity to act wisely. I've met people with millions who are miserable. They have money, but no peace. Because they forgot one simple truth. Gratitude is the highest form of wealth. When you're grateful, you stop living in scarcity. You stop chasing, comparing, and complaining. And ironically, when you stop obsessing over having more, life gives you more. Every morning, before I open my laptop, I write down 3 things I'm grateful for. Some days, it's as simple as, I'm breathing. I'm learning. I have another chance today. It doesn't take long, but it changes everything. Because when your heart is calm, your mind becomes clear. And when your mind is clear, your actions become right. In my younger years, I thought success was all about effort. But after 3 decades, I've realized effort without direction is exhaustion. Hard work without wisdom is chaos. And wealth without peace is poverty in disguise. True wealth isn't having more than others. It's having enough peace that you no longer need to compare. True wealth isn't control. It's trust. Trust in yourself, in your process, in life's timing. When you are strong within, the world around you aligns naturally. When you focus on your own growth, everything begins to flow toward you. Quietly, steadily, and at the right time. Because real wealth doesn't shout. It whispers. It doesn't rush. It endures. And it always begins from within. So if there's one thing I want you to take away from my story, it's this. Before you chase wealth, build your roots. Before you run faster, learn to stand still. And before you ask how to get rich, ask yourself, how can I become the kind of person who stays rich? In money, in mind, and in spirit. When your roots are deep, no storm can shake you. And when your heart is steady, wealth will come, not as a chase, but as a consequence. Because in the end, success isn't about speed or size. It's about strength, stability, and staying true to what really matters. That's how you become strong rich, steady rich, and right rich.